Well, today is another great day to be a member of the PC Master Race. We got the specs on Ryzen 2 and the X470 motherboard platform. Let's check it out. So AMD's second generation of Ryzen CPUs drops on the 19th. So why is that good for the thrifty gamer? From the beginning, AMD's goal with Ryzen was to bring more cores to the masses, the common people. You could get 6 cores for under $200, and it was great. And then it got confusing. There were way too many variations, I think up to 11 or 12. So this time around, AMD is simplifying the platform by condensing Ryzen 2 into just 4 processors, at least as far as we know for right now. They all feature the 12nm Zen Plus Pinnacle Ridge architecture and are all unlocked for overclocking. Let's check it out. First up is the Ryzen 7 2700X, their enthusiast processor at $329. With 8 cores and 16 threads, the multi-core performance on this thing is going to be simply mind-blowing. One of Ryzen 2's biggest features is going to be higher clock speeds than the previous Ryzen generation. And with that, the 2700X is coming in at 3.7 GHz base clock with a boost clock of 4.3 GHz. All that power takes a lot of, power, drawing 105 watts. The non-X variant is next at $299. The Ryzen 7 2700, also coming with 8 cores and 16 threads, but with base and boost clock speeds of 3.2 GHz and 4.1 GHz respectively. What it does bring to the table is a lower TDP at 65 watts. The more budget variant is the Ryzen 5 2600X at $229, with 6 cores and 12 threads, a base clock of 3.6 GHz, and a boost clock of 4.2 GHz. This does also have a higher TDP, but at 95 watts, still better for your electric bill than the 2700X. And last but not least is the Ryzen 5 2600 at just under $200. Still with 6 cores and 12 threads, it has a base clock speed of 3.4 GHz and a boost clock speed of 3.9 GHz. The 2600 matches the 2700 with a TDP of 65 watts. All of these processors will come with stock coolers, with the 2700X and 2700 coming with the Wraith Prism RGB cooler, the 2600X with the Wraith Spire, and the 2600 with the Wraith Stealth. Now all these processors still run on the AM4 chipset, so if you've already got an X470, all you need is a BIOS update and then you're good to go. No word about the B350 or A320 yet though. That being said, if you're just now going to switch to Ryzen, I would definitely recommend the new X470 motherboards, as while the processors will work with the X370, the older boards won't be able to take full advantage of some of the new features of Ryzen 2. The X470 motherboards, on the other hand, are optimized for the new generation and will allow higher overclocking, lower power draw, and faster operation. They are launching the day before, the 18th, from ASRock, ASUS, MSI, Gigabyte Aorus, and BioStar. You have options all the way from the ROG Crosshair 6 and the Taichi Ultimate at $299 to the ASRock Master SLI $129. Since the X470 platform is all enthusiast level hardware, most of the base set specs across all of them are more or less the same. The main differences are the number of USB ports that use newer standards such as USB 3.1 Gen 2 or Type-C, the use of Wi-Fi, the number of PCIe slots, and onboard audio. They all allow overclocking and they all allow Crossfire and SLI, and they all have M.2 slots. So, since I always want to give you my best advice on value for your money, the two I would recommend for the average gamer would be the ASRock X470 Master SLI at $129.99 and the Aorus X470 Ultra Gaming at $139.99. They both feature plenty of USB ports, including Type-C, dedicated onboard audio, and, for those of you that love it, RGB. B450, which will be the more budget-focused boards, is coming, but there hasn't been any news of it yet. And if you want to use a multi-GPU setup, you'd be out of luck as only X470 will support it. See you next time on ThriftTech.